welcome to this week's Devil the Detail podcast. I'm Rob Parkinson, and I'm here talking all things Salford Devils. Joining the show this week, as ever, we've got Paul Whiteside. Paul, been a few weeks since we've done this podcast, had a bit of a break. How have you been?
Yeah, you said as ever, and I thought, God, I've not been on it for ages.
Well,
no, we've not done one though, have we? So yeah,
no.
I've been all right. I've been busy, mate, work and that, and the days are long, like 12, 13-hour days and that. So I've just been coming home and having my tea and going to bed, really. So I'm not really. It's like the rugby. I followed stuff and I missed all the test series. I didn't see any of them games because I was working against Tonga, so I've not even caught up with them. I've taped them all, but not watched them yet. So rugby leagues took a bit of a back seat in my life, really, at the moment. Work's just took over, but yeah, I'm getting there. I've briefly looked at the fixtures and that today. I'll start getting back into it now, I think.
Yeah, your mission in life is to keep Britain warm, and this time of the year is the peak time for you, isn't it? Obviously running around all over the country in that new van of yours.
Yeah, I won't say new van, but it's on about 40,000 miles now. But yeah, it does get busy, and with the job I do now, the company I work for now at Baxi, it's a lot more driving and that than what I did before. So we do a lot more miles and that. So the days can be long, but I enjoy it. It's a good company. I enjoy working for them and that. They look after us. So it's going to be busy. It's always busy now as the winter sets in, and it's depressing now. When it's sort of dark when you go to work, dark when you come home, but it'll soon be springtime again, won't it? It'll soon be Christmas and it starts getting lighter then, doesn't it? My birthday's the 22nd, and the day after that it sort of gets lighter every night. So you're starting to go on the other side then, aren't you? So like when the fixtures come out, you get your friendlies coming out soon, won't you, as well? So yeah, I'm sure Rugby League will be back here and spring will be here before we know it.
Yeah, cheeky little plug for your birthday there as well. Good to see.
I try and keep it quiet.
But yeah, obviously been a bit sort of up and down, really. My dad's not well, so had a few weeks where I've been with him rather than doing the podcast. Obviously, family comes first and all that,
Yeah, of course.
So, do apologise for our listeners for not being able to do any podcast last few weeks, but fortunately, other things have taken precedence.
Yeah, like you said, your dad's poorly and your family comes first, Rob, doesn't it? And you've got a good family around you as well, and you look after them, and I'm pretty sure the listeners will forgive you because you do a fantastic job anyway. So, no, but it's nice to be back on with you having a chat, mate, definitely.
Yeah, plus side though, Paul, we went to the Independent Podcast Awards, didn't win, unfortunately, but it was a fantastic experience down in King's Cross in London. Did a bit of networking with all the other sports podcasts that were there, and a really good experience. Hopefully next year we'll get nominated again and we can all go down and make a night of it, because I think obviously, like you say, we do this podcast week in, week out, and I think it's really important that we get to celebrate our achievements as well.
Yeah, you did well though, Rob. You went down there with Kate, didn't you, and represented us. It looked like you had a good time as well, and like I said to you when you come back with your head held high, because the amount of work that you put into this, I mean, the listeners will echo me on this, I bet they will, because it's a labour of love, isn't it, really? Put so much effort in, so much work, and it's not just us talking, there's loads that goes into it. So this podcast is good. I think other rugby league people will say that it's come on leaps and bounds, hasn't it? The last few years we've got interviews, we get players on and things like that. We've got Parky on with his fountain of knowledge, and I think it works really well, doesn't it? So yeah, we've just got to go for it again next year, haven't we? I think I was reading the pamphlet that you gave me, the book of the night, and some of the podcasts that were in there, and some of them sounded a bit naff, really, to be honest with you. But no, I think it was great to get nominated, great to go down there, great experience, and yeah, you've just got to go again now, haven't you? We've got to keep doing it and making it better and better.
Yeah, another exciting thing, Paul, is that it is our 10th birthday. This podcast's been going 10 years. The 18th of November was our first ever podcast in 2013. What a journey that we've been on. I'm obviously learning how to produce this podcast radio shows throughout the years, learning as I went. It's been a real journey, covering all the magic of Salford Devils, the ups and the downs, all the big stories in between, and it's been an honour and it's been a pleasure to be able to sort of highlight every sort of news that the club's generated in that period of time.
Yeah, that's right. I joined a bit after that. I think it was about 2016. I think when I came helping you out and that, and because I remember that season we didn't have our press passes then, did we? And
no.
we didn't really do interviews. And I remember doing a match report video. I think it was at Hull, the first game of the season, and I put the camera towards the pitch because I thought I can't film myself. I was a bit embarrassed to do it. And then you grow into things, don't you? And you learn things, and I've learned loads as I've gone through off yourself and what have you about helping you on the radio as well. That's really given me a bit of knowledge, because before that I didn't know anything about broadcasting. I still don't know a right lot now, but I know a bit more than I did, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, Rob. I really have. I mean, when we used to go to the stadium and do it, didn't we? We had a really good time doing it down there, and like, doing it on Skype as well. It's great. It really does get things off your chest and gets you talking about the club, and I think the supporters enjoy it as well, don't they? So I've really enjoyed doing it. It's become a big part of my life doing this now, and I wouldn't be without it. I love it.
Yeah, I have to echo that, Paul. I thank you for what you do as well, and everything, Parky as well, and all our listeners who tune in week out to listen to us three talk all about Salford Devils and what's happening in the world of Salford Devils. So it's an amazing thing, and hopefully, like I say, the next 10 years it will be here again covering what goes on. So to celebrate our 10-year anniversary, Paul, I've got a little quiz for you.
Okay.
Are you prepared for this?
Yeah. You've sprung this one on me, but I'll do my very best.
Okay, it's only 4 questions.
Okay.
So the first question is, our first ever episode, which 2 ex-Salford players were on the show? 2013, November.
Ooh. Mark Lee on it?
No. I'll give you 3 guesses. So on each. So Mark Lee isn't on it, no.
First ever episode.
I'll give you a clue.
Andy Gregory.
Who?
Andy Gregory.
No. That's 2. I'll give you a clue. Both have worked for the club as well as played for the club.
Yeah, Paul Iton.
Paul Iton's 1.
Alan Hunt.
Nope. So you got one more guess, I think.
Danny Barton.
No. Martin Gleeson.
I never would have got that.
Yeah.
No, I never would have got that.
Yeah. I had to scroll back through the archives to find it. So them 2 were the first club representatives / players.
I don't think I was listening to the podcast then, to be honest with you, because I wasn't that well up on sort of computers and Facebook and social media and stuff like that. I didn't really do any of that sort of in 2013. So I know I was a bit behind the times.
Okay. Next question.
Yeah.
For you and for our listeners at home. How many Devil in the Detail podcasts have we done in the last 10 years?
Ooh.
Do you want me to give you the total? Because there are Sports Zone ones as well included in the list. But I've taken the Sports Zone ones off.
So they're just Devil in the Detail ones?
Just Devil in the Detail ones, yeah. So I'll give you the total. So the total podcasts we've done in total, including Sports Zone ones, is 687 podcasts in 10 years.
I reckon.
What's your thought process? Talk me through your thought process. Why are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking we do roughly one a week, don't we? So the Sports Zone ones are probably going to take a large chunk of that. So I bet they're about half or so. So what was the total?
687 total.
87, right. So I reckon around about half of them are going to be Sports Zone ones. So I'm going to go 355.
That's wrong. But I understand your thought process on it. But we didn't start putting Sports Zone podcasts on until 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So the total Devil in the Detail podcasts we've done is 567 podcasts.
Oh, so the Sports Zone wasn't that many then, was it?
No, 120 Sports Zones.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll have to do like a special show when it's 1,000th show, won't we?
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. And might as well. What we could do is find interviews that people would like to listen to again. So if you're a listener out there and want to listen to one of our interviews from a previous podcast throughout the last 10 years, tweet me and we'll find it. We'll put it in a special show for you to listen to again. Or we'll interview him again. But yeah, it's magic experience. It really shocked me when I actually looked at it. But yeah, it's I mean, it's been a journey when you think about it. The last 10 years, it's a lot of shows in it, a lot of things covered.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yeah, it soon goes, doesn't it? I suppose when you think about it, I was surprised. I didn't realise we'd not been doing sports all that long on podcasts, have we? Really? Because we used to do like that in the studio, didn't we? So yeah, last couple of years we've not been able to get in there. Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of shows, that though.
Yeah. Third question. This is going to test your mind. There's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 full-time presenters on the Devil in the Detail podcast. Can you name them?
Does that include me, you, and Parker?
Yeah.
That's 3 of us then.
Yep.
The guy who I don't know who you started with, was he called Patrick?
Yep. Patrick Noon.
I don't know that gentleman, but Dan Robinson.
Dan Robinson. Correct.
Is that Richard Lowe? Yeah,
Richard Lowe, yeah.
How many have I got there?
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Andy Steele.
Andy Steele, yeah. 7.
Ryan Wilkinson.
Ryan Wilkinson.
And Syendall.
Syendall.
That's 9, isn't it?
You got 1 more.
Oh, 1 more?
Yeah.
I need to get this now, don't I? Because whoever it is will be 50 if I don't get them. Have a clue?
Your clue is his nickname is the Man, the Myth.
Oh, that Mark Scowen.
Mark Scowen, correct. 10 out of 10. Very impressed with that. Very, very impressed.
Took a bit of doing that. I was just trying to remember all the people I used to see when we used to go to the stadium and what have you.
Yeah. Wow. So there, very impressed with that. Very impressed. Final question for you, Paul.
Yeah.
How many podcasts has Paul Rowley been in?
He's going to say me then. Paul Rowley, he's been there. When did he sign on? He's done 22. He's done 2 seasons. So I reckon he's been the games a season 55.
I can see where you were thinking, but the correct answer is 140.
Oh, because you do the thingy ones and all, don't you?
Correct.
The pop-up ones, blooming heck.
Yeah.
I thought of that.
But
wow, that's
impressed with that, Paul. Well done.
I didn't do too bad there.
No, did very well. I've got another quiz, but I'm going to save that for you, Parky, when he's here.
Right.
So that's a bit of fun celebrating our 10-year anniversary. I'd say big thanks for our listeners that have stuck with us through the last 10 years. And here's to the next 10 following Salford Red Devils. So what we're going to do now is look at all the news stories that are happening at the moment. So, Paul, we'll start off with the little story that's popped up this evening with Matthew Shaw from the Examiner in a story saying that we've been placed under special measures by the RFL. Obviously, the club haven't mentioned anything. The RFL haven't mentioned anything. It is a story at the moment. Obviously, we haven't got the full picture yet. But is it something to worry about, you think?
It's pretty negative, that Matthew Shaw, isn't it? Every single story that he seems to do is negative. I think a lot of rugby league journalists are like that, aren't they? Never any positive stuff, is there? I think it's common sense, I suppose, really, isn't it? I mean, the RFL and rugby league are probably looking at it and thinking, well, we've got to keep an eye on Salford at the moment because there has been financial trouble spoke about. We've made that quite well publicised. I think there's the stadium issue as well that's ongoing. So perhaps they're just keeping a bit of a caretaker's watch on us and just making sure everything's going okay. So I don't think it's like alarm bells and everybody panicking, but I just think it's a bit of a pointless sort of news story, really. I mean, perhaps just say something positive about us for once rather than that, because I read stories sometimes and think, why have they put that story out? Because let's just try and get behind our club, and not just Salford. I mean, all the clubs. I think there's a lot of negative press that clubs get, and rather than just talking about the good things. So So I'm not overly worried about it. If, like you said, the club's not said anything, have they? So I'm not like mega worried about that. What will
No,
be will be.
he's only doing his job as
Yeah,
a
of course.
reporter, highlighting the story. That's the name of the game in that world, isn't it? I mean, like we said, club's not mentioned anything, RFL's not mentioned anything. What we do know is that the club, the council, and the RFL were getting together regarding the stadium. So it's quite easy to join the dots, but until we know what's actually happened, if anything's happened, then obviously we'll comment on that when it happens.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think guys like Matthew Shaw, I mean, they're journalists out of that's their occupation, and I think they're always out for big stories, aren't they? Like any sort of journalist in doing that sort of ilk are out there after breaking exclusives, and I think he does that. I think he does. He have like news stories online that you have to pay for and things like that. He breaks exclusive news things and that, doesn't he? So that's their job, isn't it? So that's up to them. But it's just a bit. You find it a bit hard to take sometimes when it's about your club, don't you? You tend to think it's a bit personal, but I suppose it's not. I suppose he's just breaking what's there to go out, and news keeps the sport going, doesn't it? Exclusives and transfer talk and things like that. So that's sport. I mean, there's plenty that goes on in football and other sports as well, isn't there? So yeah, I mean, it's well documented, isn't it? At the moment that Salford have, I think, got money troubles, but there's I don't think we're awash with money, are we? Let's put it that way. We've not got loads of money in a cupboard somewhere that we can just sort of throw out willy nilly. It's money's tight, and if the RFL are keeping an eye on us, then all's well.
Yeah. More positive news though. We'll start with Ben Helliwell. He signed a 1-year extension for us for 2024. 19 appearances, 4 tries. Works hard for us. Solid player. Got good feet as well for the forward, I think.
Yeah, he's a very mobile forward, is Ben. He's a good lad. He's experienced as well. He's been around the block. He's played at quite a number of clubs, and he knows the leagues. And you know, he's much more than just a sort of head down forward. He's like you said, he's got a good pair of feet on him. He can offload. He's got a bit of a rugby brain on him as well. He's not the biggest. He's not the biggest forward going, but I think he's a very useful acquisition to that squad. And I was impressed with him last season. Also got a bit of pace. Played in the centres in his career as well, so he can shift a bit. So you need players like that in your team. He's got that utility value as well. He can move about. He's very adaptable. So I'm glad he's signed on, because and he's a player with the right attitude as well. When you speak to him, he's down to earth sort of guy. He works hard for the team, and you probably ask a lot of the other players in the side. They probably really get on with him because he's he's a good lad.
Yeah. New signings come in. Matty Foster, he signed a 1-year deal. He's come from St Helens. He had a double ACL and a broken jaw, I think, last season. Played for Swinton last season. Played 8 games, scored 1 try. Obviously, we are the opportunity club, aren't we, Paul? We bring the opportunity for him now to play at Super League level and test himself at the highest stage.
Yeah, well, he's come from St Helens, so he's come from a good background there at St Helens. They've got a great setup there. You look at that conveyor belt they've got of youngsters coming through there with the youth setup that they've got, and they get some terrific players coming through, and not everybody can make it to St Helens, can they? So but he's got his second chance, if you like, now to sort of resurrect his career, because you're talking about his injuries there, 2 ACLs. 1 ACL is career threatening, isn't it, really? And he's going to set you back. So maybe St Helens have thought, we're not going to take a chance on him because of these injuries that he's had, so we took a chance on him. So it's up to him now to keep himself fit. I know it's easier said than done, but he proved himself, and I'm sure Paul Rowley signed him for that reason. Really, he's obviously seen something in him. He must be a good player if he's been at St Helens. But let's hope he doesn't have those injuries, because I've had players recently. I mean, James Greenwood's one where he's just been, capitulated by injuries, really, hasn't he? And let's hope this lad's not the same. Let's hope he gets a real sort of run in the team, and if he does, his confidence is going to grow then. And he's only a relatively young player as well, so could be a good signing.
Yeah, another new signing. Ethan Ryan, he's come in on a 3-year deal from Hull Kingston Rovers. Winger fullback, played for Bradford before, played for Hull Kingston Rovers before. He's an Irish international, and I've seen some of his highlights, and he's a world-class finisher for me, so he's certainly going to add a lot to our backline.
Yeah, it was a strange one, really, because a lot of Ulkaya supporters, I saw the comments on social media and what have you, and they were sort of disappointed that he'd left them because he was very, very highly rated. He's got an excellent try ratio. He did at Bradford and at Hulkingston Rovers, and it seems strange the way they've let him go, whether they've signed players and they fill positions and he's surplus to requirements there, I'm not too sure, or whether he's had a couple of injuries there and they're not willing to take a chance on him. I don't know, but he looks very, very quick. He's just what we needed, really. That pace in the back line, and it comes with really good raps from their supporters and the rugby league community. So I think he's a good signing. And like you said, he can play in a number of positions in the back line as well. So he'll be another good player for us.
Yeah, certainly adds strength to that back line. Our back
Yeah.
line wasn't weak at the beginning, was it really, Paul? So him being able to play, you will push the others on.
Yeah, well, you've had Rhys Williams who's moved on. Rhys has gone to Swinton, I believe, hasn't he? And he was a great servant to us. So you say he's a direct replacement for Rhys Williams, really. So you're gaining a player who's probably an awful lot younger, probably a bit quicker as well. He's got a bit more pace. So without being disrespectful to Rhys Williams, he's probably a bit of an upgrade on him now, isn't he? Because he's sort of at the back end of his career. He's signing a bloke here who's in the peak of his career. So it's a good signing, really.
Yeah. Another player that's come in is Kai Morgan, halfback from Leeds. He won the Academy Grand Final for Leeds in 2022. He's been given a 1-year deal. Like we said previously, Opportunity Club gives opportunity. Opportunity for us to have a look at him and see what he's all about.
Yeah, he's come with a good reputation as well. I know it's been disappointing to see some young players move on. We've had some players move on, haven't we, who've been on the fringes of the first team playing the reserves and they've left us, so that was disappointing. So now this lad, this guy Morgan, he's got a chance at Salford, and as we've mentioned before about Leeds and St Helens, they've got the good youth systems there. He's coming from a really good mentality, they've been coached really, really well, and hopefully he's hungry to learn now and has got an opportunity, because when you think about it, there's only 12 Super League sides, isn't there? So there's not a lot of spaces in those 12 squads as there for players. So if you can get a place in a Super League team like Kai's done, you want to prove yourself and stay in Super League, don't you? Stay at that high level. You want to be dropping out and going to League One Championship. He's got an opportunity now at a Super League club. So there's a fair chance if he plays well in the friendly games, he could be knocking on the door to start in that first game away at Leeds against his old club. So if I was him, I'd be getting myself as fit as I can now and really going for it, because if you're good enough, Paul Rowley will pick you.
Yeah, and obviously opportunity for him to learn off the likes of Mark Sneed, Chris Atkin. These players are really good professionals, and he will be seeing them week in, week out, training with them, picking up all the good habits.
Well, yeah, and without being disrespectful to Mark Sneed, I mean, he's at the back end of his career now. He's not going to be playing for Salford in 5 or 6 years' time, is he? He'll be well retired by then, so there's opportunities there for him to learn, like you said, off Mark Steed and take the mantle off him when Mark retires. So you're in this squad now. He's got a year contract, like you said. So the club have given him that, and it's up to him to go and earn a better contract, isn't it? And play well this season when he gets the opportunities, and I'm pretty sure he'll get a longer contract.
Yeah. Ryan Briley signed a new 3-year deal. He was our podcast player of the year and 3-word man of the match player of the year. Crucial player for us. There was, I think, the story about, was it a couple of days before, that he might have been on his way, and I thought, here it goes, the devil in the detail, player of the year curse strikes again. But we signed him up and now he's a red for the next 3 years.
I think Ryan Briley is a good player, but I think he's also a man of integrity as well. He's a Salford supporter, isn't he? And when we've spoken to him in the past, and we've spoken to him quite a lot, he's always got plenty of time for us. He's always really, really a real gentleman and a real sort of thinker of the sport. I think he's excellent on the television as well. But like I said, I think he's a very honourable man as well. And I think he seems to think a lot of the Salford supporters and a lot of the people who've got behind him at the club. And I know they sing that song to him saying that he's one of our own. I think he really is. He loves the club. And there's no way he was going to leave, I don't think. I think he's happy here. And he's another player that's at the back end of his career now, isn't he? And I'm pretty sure he want to finish his career with Salford now. Why would you want to go and sign for somebody else at his age now? You're playing well here at Salford. You're in a good side. The supporters love you. You're enjoying it as well. So no, it was great to see him sign that extended deal.
Yeah, and obviously with the likes of Brodie Croft and Andy Ackers departing, extra bit of responsibility on him to be the creation. Obviously, Paul Rowley will be looking around to see how we can strengthen that spine of the team. But obviously, we all know what Ryan's all about and what he produces in a red shirt, and I'm sure he'll be doing more of that in 2024.
Yeah, well, we've got other players coming now. I mean, I know he particularly enjoyed playing with Brodie Croft, didn't he? He said that, and we got on really well with him. So, Brodie Croft will be missed. Andy Ackers, the other one. I was disappointed to see Andy Ackers leave, to be honest with you. I mean, I didn't think he'd go. He'd signed a contract and done well at Salford, got an England call, and the first sort of chance he had, he went, didn't he? So, I mean, that's up to him where he wants to play, and it's his prerogative, so I'm nothing against him. But, yeah, disappointed when players go, aren't you, when you think they're going to stay, but that's another story, isn't it? But we all knew Brodie Croft was going, didn't we, when these rumours came about? But Ryan Brierley, I think he's going to look forward to playing with these new players now. We've got new players coming in, with a couple of players we haven't mentioned yet, but I think we'll be forming a new spine there now. We've got new players coming in those important positions, and Ryan's that sort of player. He'll be at a bond with anybody and settle in with anybody, I would have thought. He's still got Mark Sneed there as well, who he gets along with and plays with really well.
Yeah, Danny Addy's departed to Featherstone. Obviously, squad player for us, worked hard. I would have liked to keep him to try and keep the squad size, but obviously the decision been made and he's gone to Fev.
Yeah, you say keep the squad size, but we've snapped up a few players this week, and there's one or two rumours flying about another player that could be coming in as well. So we don't look too bad. We look quite strong, I think, in the forwards, particularly where we needed to strengthen. I thought, and you've got Shane Wright who's coming back as well from that injury, so he's going to be like a new player. So I think the pack, it's not looking too bad. There's another, like I said, there's another signing that I've heard a few people mention this week. I've not said anything, but I've heard a few people mention this name, and if he comes up as well, I think that'll be a great signing. But when you look at the forwards that we've got there, Brad Singleton there, King Vuniyawa, you've got two good props there. You've got Alex Gerrard, who hopefully is going to be fit when he comes back. He'll be like a new player as well. I've not mentioned the other player that I'm dead excited to talk about, but you're going to mention shortly as well. He's another good signing. So, pack-wise, I think we're looking better than we did last season.
Yeah. Another new signing, Cade Cust. He's come in on a 1-year deal. Standoff hooker. Bit of a playmaker for me. We'll have to change Rowley ball because he's not the same as Brodie Croft, but he's got an opportunity at Salford to show what he's all about.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. I was never impressed with him at Wigan. I thought he was a bit of a duckhead, to be honest with you. I remember me saying that to my dad. But that was when he played for Wigan. Well, he's a Salford player now, and I'll be right behind him, and I want him to prove me wrong. I mean, I didn't see a lot of him at Wigan, so it'd be unfair of me to say he's no good or anything like that. But I'm sure he's a good player. I mean, the Wigan supporters seemed disappointed to see him go, but he didn't really seem to get in their team last season. But, having said that, sometimes a player doesn't settle at a certain club, does he? He needs to move on. He needs a coach who can put his arm around him and get the best out of him. And if you think about a guy called Tuil Olahir, he was at Leeds, and the supporters didn't like him. The club seemed to make him a real scapegoat. He come to Salford, Ian Watson put his arm around him and got the best out of him. So if we can do that with Cade Cust, and that happens an awful lot that in rugby league, a player won't settle at a certain club or doesn't play well at a certain club, he comes somewhere else and he's a superstar for them. So if he gets the right backing at Salford and the right support, he forms those bonds with the players and the coach, supporters start taking to him. If he puts 100% in every week, Rob, that's all you can ask from him. And if he does, he'll become a favourite with the supporters and a favourite with me.
Yeah, I watched him on YouTube a lot to try and figure out how he's going to fit in our side, and he's more of a playmaker than Brodie Croft was. So him and Mark Sneed will probably have to share that responsibility. But yeah, from what I saw, he puts people through gaps, and that's what it's all about, really. You need to share that creation around the team a bit more, and I think he will do that.
Is he quite a big fellow? Is he quite tall?
Yeah, it's about 6 foot, something like that.
I was going to say, from what I've seen of him, he looks quite big for a halfback, but he's no sort of dwarf, is he? He's a big lad. He looks quite a big lad. So, yeah, he to play for Wigan, he must be all right. He's got potential there, hasn't he? The only thing that I thought was strange was that we've only given him a 1-year contract. So whether we've got somebody else in the pipeline for next season, or we want to see how he goes, I'm not too sure. But he's come with a decent reputation, so let's see how he goes.
Yeah. 6 foot tall, 14 stone, according to Wikipedia.
It's not bad, is it?
Played for Manly Sea Eagles, played for Wigan, going to play for us. Also played for Indigenous All Stars in 2021.
Yeah. So he's coming with a decent reputation. So, and as you said, there's that sort of value that he can play at hooker as well. With us losing Andy Ackers, we've not signed a hooker as far as I'm aware. We've got a few players who can play in that role. So you've got Chris Atkin there as well. So there's a bit of strength in depth there, and also we've got Amir Burra. So I think we've got a bit more strength in depth than we had last season, to be honest with you.
Yeah, another new signing, Joe Shorrocks. He's come in on a 3-year deal. Forward, got a good pair of hands, good work rate. Going to be a gun for us.
I saw this the other day. I just popped on my phone. I think it was at night time when I got home. I'd not been on my phone all day, and that just popped up. I'd not heard anything about it. And I saw his head with a Salford shirt, and I thought, wow. I mean, I'm not saying he's like a Great Britain international, but from what I've seen of him, I think he's a really, really good player. I think sometimes in rugby league, you'll have players who, you're a big lad, can run hard, but doesn't have a lot else. And there's a lot of them about. But I think Shorrocks, he's got a bit more than that. He's got a bit more to his game than that. Yeah, he can run hard and he can tackle, but he can also get the ball out. He's like a bit of an old-fashioned ball playing forward. I mean, he played a lot of standoff last season for Wigan. He played really well at standoff. Probably not the quickest, but that to me shows Matty Peake must have thought he's got a bit of a rugby league brain, this kid, because we're going to play him at standoff for Wigan. So he's no mug. And the beauty of him as well is, I think he's 23. I think he's 24 this weekend. So you're signing a bloke who's the right side, isn't he? 24 years of age. He's got years ahead of him, and he signed a 3-year deal as well. So I think he's put his future on the line with Salford. And I think he's an excellent sign. He's the signing I've been most excited about, to be honest with you. Yeah. I think we've got a real good ball playing forward there, and somebody who can link up, and perhaps he can play that role that Gerrard was playing a couple of years ago, because he was doing really well in that role. So yeah, I think Shorrocks will be a real good signing.
It'd be interesting to see where he plays him, because like you say, you've got Oliver Partington who's got a pair of hands as well. And I've always out for loose forwards who have got a pair of hands and a bit of creation. And now we've got two. So Rowley Ball, he has options in that area.
Is Oliver Partington staying though?
Well, nothing to say he's not.
About him going to Warrington, haven't they? But so I expected that to get announced of him going there, but that seems to have gone quiet now, doesn't it? So I'd be hopeful that we can keep hold of both of them, because Oliver Partington's a good player. We've got quite a lot of players there who've come through that ilk at Wigan and played for Wigan in that team there, and that setup there. That's a winning mentality there. If you think over the last 20, 30, 40 years, how many players we've had from Wigan, they've had one or two of us as well, but how many players we've had who've come from Wigan and done really well for us and been top players. I mean, Steve Blakely's one. How long was he at Salford for? Over 10 years. And he came as... I don't think he played many games for Wigan in that first team, but we signed him there for next to nothing, and he became a fantastic player for us. So we've had some real gems off them, and I think Oliver Partington and Shorrocks could be two more.
Yeah. Other news as well, Paul, is Magic Weekend will now be played at Ellen Road. Leeds on Sunday will face Leigh. What's your thought on that? Obviously, Newcastle was everyone's favourite. RFL decided to switch it to Leeds.
I don't get, to be honest, I don't get the moving it to Leeds. I don't see what that gained really to moving it to Ellen Road, apart from it being a home game for Leeds really, because it's right near their ground. I just didn't see the wisdom of it, because there's not much going on there, is there? For me personally, I'm not bothered where they have it really. It's just another league game to me. I'm not bothered about going out drinking or anything like that. I just go and watch the match, and it's all about getting 2 points, because that 2 points you get in the Magic Weekend could be the difference between finishing the playoffs and not finishing in the playoffs. So I don't get all this sort of carnival thing. It's a massive 2 points, a massive game against Leigh, who could be our rivals. But if you're looking for a weekend away, Leeds is probably, or not so much Leeds. If it was, I don't know, Ellen Road's a bit out on a limb. It's not really near Leeds city centre, is it? It's in the middle of nowhere. It's just off the M621. There's nothing there. I think you've got McDonald's and a B&Q, haven't you? So there's not much going on there really. But it just seemed a strange decision really to me, that.
Yeah, obviously IMG, the people obviously involved in trying to grow our sport, they wanted rid of it. Wanted to keep it, so it was kept. Obviously, a lot of people are happy that it is at Leeds, but I would say if you were going to go to Newcastle, you've got to go to Leeds to try and support the sport. Obviously, with the RFL, with funding issues and things like that, every penny matters. So big events like that, like this, will put coppers in their fund. So you're just hoping that after the initial outcry from people that it is moved to Leeds, they'll end up going anyway.
Yeah, you won't get an outcry off me at all. I wasn't negative about it. I just thought it was a strange decision, but I'll definitely be going because it's your team need the support. It's just a game to me. It's just another league game, so it's a game in a big stadium. So I'll look forward to it. I've not been to Elland Road for last time I went to Elland Road, 1997, the Great Britain Test Series, the third Test. That's the last time I went there, so it's a long time ago. So I'll look forward to going again and cheering Salford on.
Yeah, I know IMG wanted a whole new competition to replace it, Paul. Hopefully that'll be something, hopefully to look into the future. For me, I think that's the best idea. Because Rugby League, they talk about the excitement, but you've only got 2 trophies to play for. You've got a Challenge Cup and you've got a sort of Super League Grand Final, haven't you? So to have another cup competition involving the sport would open more opportunity and more eyes on the sport, in my opinion.
I think so. I don't think there's enough trophies to win, Rob. I mean, I think when they killed the county cups, I think that was a massive step back. It was a long time ago now. You're talking 30 years ago. But I think the Lancashire and Yorkshire Cup used to be fantastic. I mean, we've had some great days in that, haven't we? Getting to finals at 88, 90, and all the finals we got to in the 70s as well. But I thought that was a great tournament. I've been to loads. And Regal Trophy as well. It was like the old League Cup, wasn't it? I mean, I thought the Regal Trophy was great. I mean, I know I'm advertising cigarettes there, but that's what it was called for years, wasn't it? Or the John Player Trophy, whatever you want to call it. But been to some great finals. I remember going to a final between Cass and Wigan in the early 90s. I think that was at Headingley, but it was a great game and just another trophy to get excited about. So the thing is now, if you bring another trophy in, it's how you market it now, because the Super League is that big now with the grand final, the playoffs, and what have you. Whatever trophy you bring in, people will just be sort of saying, well, it's nothing that, because it's Super League. Because the Challenge Cup's a bit like that now. The Super League sort of overlooks that. I mean, not for traditionalists like us, but a lot of people now don't seem that bothered about the Challenge Cup because it's all about Super League. So if you did bring another trophy, it's how you get that trophy up there for teams to take it serious and supporters to take it serious.
Yeah. Today, Paul, the Super League fixtures were announced for 2024. We start 2024 season at Leeds on the 16th of February. Was it like Christmas Eve for you last night, waiting for that fixtures to drop this morning?
No, not really. No, I'm too busy working. I'm not that bothered when the fixtures come out. Yeah, I have a look at them and that, but I'm usually panicking trying to swap my shifts round and having a look when the games is, because I don't do Sundays anymore. I do a lot of Saturdays, so I've probably got a few of them to swap. But I'll cross that bridge when a few months when I've got my new diary and I fill it in. But no, I had Imogen text me this morning. She must have got the fixtures on her phone. What kids are like on the phones all the time, so she sent them to me. So I had a little perusal through them to see when. Well, it was London I was looking forward to, because I fancy going down there for the weekend. And obviously there's a Catalan trip as well. I'd like to go there if I've got enough money, but we'll have to see. But I had a feeling. Well, we knew we got Leeds anyway because that got released, didn't it? But I sort of knew we'd get Leeds away first game. It was a bit of a knocking bet, that really, wasn't it? But no, we've got a tough start. Haven't we? Got 2 home games after the Leeds game, and I think did we play Lee on Easter Saturday? We played Lee? Yeah, so we play Lee. I think.
Is it May?
March, sorry. We play that Magic weekend as well, don't we? So we've got them 3 times, haven't we?
Yeah, it's fixtures that I look at. I looked at London away, like yourself. Catalan away, 13th of July. And like you say, Lee, Easter Saturday. As a derby day, should be a big crowd, that, hopefully.
Yeah, hope so. Yeah, you'd hope so. Trying to fill the blooming stadium, I think that'd be great. I mean, the Catalan game, we always seem to get Catalan in the height of summer now, don't we? Every time we go there, it's been July a few times, hasn't it? In June and in the summertime. It'd be nice to play them early doors when it's not as warm, but no, that'll be another good trip. Look, I'm looking forward to going to London because I've never been to that ground that they play at now, the Cherry Record Stadium, I think it's called. I think that's going to be a long trip. I think looking at whereabouts that stadium is, it's like off the M25. It looks a bit of a trek down there, but I was trying to plan my journey the other way. I think might get on the M1, I think, that way, or the A1. But no, that should be an exciting day. I think that game's a Sunday as well, a London game, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, like I say, we're subject to change with all the TV and all that. I mean, saying that, it's every game's on Sky. There's talk about having a new streaming service. I think I've read that somewhere. Something to look into that for the next pod, maybe.
Yeah, I just hope that they don't start moving fixtures about. If they picked the games for television and all the games are televised, I just hope they give supporters a chance to get to the games, because if you start moving games with a week's notice and people have decided to book an hotel and go down to London and things like that, you're selling the supporters a bit short there then. And especially Thursday night games and things like that. I mean, I've noticed there's still a few of them, isn't there? So I think the season kicks off with the whole derby, doesn't it, on Thursday night? Which is all well and good if you live in Hull and you're going from one side of the city to the other. But if you go to somewhere like Wakefield on a Thursday night from Salford, it's difficult when you're working. It's just logistically getting there, isn't it, really? And I know a lot of games I've been to last season, the Friday nights, you go straight from work. You're shattered there on the Saturday when you go into work again. So, but I don't mind really whatever day the games. I'm looking forward to it starting though. But I would like to see a few Sunday games. It's nice to go in the afternoon, isn't it? Especially in the summer when the sun's out and it's a nice day. So, but we seem to have a lot of Saturday games as well, don't we?
Yeah, 23rd of June, Armed Forces Day. We played St Helens, big success last year. I'm sure there'll be other days organised as the season goes on.
Yeah, let's hope so. That Armed Forces Day is always really good, isn't it? And we had the Blue Light Day. I think that's always a good one as well when you get the emergency people at the stadium. So I'm sure that they'll be doing things like that again, and it'll be really exciting. I've heard a lot of people talk about the new kit. When's the new kit available now? That's the next thing that needs to come out, isn't it? After the fixtures, and yeah, it'll soon be here, won't it? Now, once the fixtures come out, you're on the countdown, then, aren't you?
Have you done your old win-win, lose-lose count up yet?
I've not done that for a while, actually. I normally do that when they come out on paper, when you get the paper copy at League Express and you start to work it out. So I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day. I was looking at the signings and I thought, God, we've signed some useful players, and if anybody can mould them into a team, it's Paul Rowley and Kurt Haggerty, really, isn't it? So we might be a dark horse, but looking at the betting odds, they've got us and Castleford and London to finish in the bottom three, haven't they, the bookies? So they don't fancy us, but I don't know. Looking at that squad, I think our squad's just as good as quite a lot of the other teams. So I think we might surprise a few.
I did it as soon as it came out, me, like I normally do, and I've got 26 points, which will make us finish 7th, which is what we don't want really. But if we can nick one that we don't expect, we can get in the 6th.
Yeah, why will 26 not get in the 6?
We finished 7th. We finished 24 last year.
Right.
So
you never know. It could
never know.
Be in there if
Let's say
you have a bad season.
We're only back training 3 days, so we've got plenty of time.
Well, who do you think is going to be up there? I mean, you look at the table on that. I think the recruitment wise, I think Wigan's probably been the most impressive recruitment. The players they've signed. I mean, you've only got to look at the players they've offloaded because they've signed that many players. So you'd expect them to be in the top 2 or 3, wouldn't you? Again, I don't know. Is St Helens going to be up there? They usually are, aren't they? And you've got Catalans. What are Leeds going to do this time? I don't know. I'm not convinced with them, to be honest with you. I mean, I know they've got Brodie Croft, but I'm not so sure that might. Well, I don't know whether that's going to work out. That, to be honest with you, I don't know. I think we've got a chance of finishing above them. I'd expect us to go there on that first day, and if I was Paul Rule, they'd be saying we get out there against Leeds and we give him one in the ear all straight away, Brodie Croft, and we absolutely go out there and flatten them. That'd be my thing. There's no don't take any prisoners. Brodie Croft don't play for us anymore. Neither does Andy Ackers. Let's go out there and blast them. So let's hope that happens. But I think it's going to be tough, isn't it? We know that it's going to be tough for the squad that we've got. Everybody starts on 0, don't they? And it's confidence if we can get off to a winning start and build some momentum again. Who knows?
Yeah, I think obviously we're in that middle section, aren't we? The likes of Hull FC, Hull KR, Huddersfield, us, Warrington. I mean, if we can be the top half of that 4, we'll be all right.
Those sides you've just mentioned there's an awful lot of pressure on them.
Yeah.
You've got Huddersfield, Ian Watson, the job he's doing there, pretty poor last season. Is he going to make it to Easter if they have a bad start? Probably not. They've got to start well, haven't they? Or he's going to be down the road. I think it's the same at Hull. I think they've got to do something this time. They spent loads of money last season and brought Jake Clifford in, Truman. They've signed players again, haven't they? And they've got to do well. Warrington, blimey, they've got to do well this season, haven't they? Really, because they didn't do much last season. They've got Sam Burgess in there now, and he's never coached before, has he? At this level, so how's that going to go? That could be a massive gamble. So there's those sides around us who've got an awful lot more pressure on than us. So I think we've just got to go out there and do our best. And Paul Rowley seems to do that for us, get the best out of our players, and yeah, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, and Lee as well. Obviously, had a great season last season, winning the Challenger Cup, getting in towards the playoffs. How are they going to react to that second season? How much of this season took out of them?
Well, is the hunger still there? They've won the cup last season. It must be pretty difficult to lift those players again to do that again because they've done it now. So when they're a year older, a lot of them, they've got some aging players there at Lee as well. You look through the squad. So and they're going to be a bit more of a marked team, aren't they? People know about Lachlan now, Lamb now. So and yeah, it'd be difficult, but they've got a good coach and they've got some good players. So you'd expect them to do well again. It's all up in the air. I think rugby league, and I've said it before. A lot of the time, most of the teams are pretty similar, aren't they? They all play a very similar way. There's not much between teams on the day. I think a lot of it's down to coaching. I think it's down to the coach. It's down to the belief that he puts in the players. It's about the players having that togetherness, that will to win. That mentality is mental. A lot of it's mental. You look at. I always go back to 2019. That Salford team we had no right to get to that grand final. We weren't a great side, but we played some fantastic rugby, and we did it as a team. Same in 2022. We nearly got to the grand final that season, but we're on a shoestring budget really. But the coach instilled that belief, and the players wanted it. If you want it, and your coaches instill that belief into you, you can be really dangerous. Don't matter how much money you spend. So that if I was Paul Rowley, that's what I'd be saying to the players. Let's want this and let's go for it.
Yeah, what a lovely way to finish this podcast, Paul. Obviously, got other stories we're going to be talking about on the next podcast. We've got a new ladies head coach. We've got a new wheelchair coach. We've got the IMG. We've got the stadium issue. Got loads to go on, but we've done 50 minutes now, so it could be another 2-hour job if we don't stop now.
Yeah, I thought we was only doing half an hour tonight. You said to me, you just get talking, don't you? And no, I've enjoyed it. It's been good to speak to you, mate. And hopefully we'll have Parky on with us when he's a bit better. Yeah. And he'll be back with us next time. So yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Yeah. So big thanks for joining us on this Devil in the Detail podcast. Big thanks for everyone who's donating via the Ko-fi Reds, keeping us going in the off season, paying the subscriptions to help us produce podcasts like this one. So big thanks for joining us, Albert Parkinson, and we'll see you soon for more Soul for a Devil's Chat. You can find us on Facebook, Devil in the Detail SRD. You can find us on Twitter at DITDSRD, and you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Radio Contact, Spotify, and YouTube. See you soon.